Hi, how are you? Welcome. I'm Mary Amy, and this is Living in the Light. And I'm all about shifting away darkness, guiding you to your true potential, and cracking open that beautiful glowing light in your heart. Welcome to the fifth dimension. Have you stepped out of the 3D simulation, the illusion, that matrix, and joined us here in peace and love and personal happiness and serenity? And that's where I am, and that's what we're creating right here. We're going to come out of our homes and we're going to hug one another and we're going to be accepting to everyone. We're going to have unconditional love for ourselves and unconditional love for others. And we're going to hold hands. We're going to have a great time. We're going to have fun. It's not going to be all about the rat race and running towards, I guess, the next paycheck or bills, 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 or, I guess looking at those that have so much wealth and just saying, I guess that's never going to happen to me. We're not going to think that way anymore. We're going to come from a new belief system. We're going to have collective consciousness. So here I am coming from New York, and I'm excited to be here. I apologize. I got to fix something. I apologize for not coming through last night, but what happened was I had a last minute thing I had to attend to, so I wasn't home. By the time I got back, hey, Alexandra Morel, thank you for coming from New York. I'm in New York as well. And so I just wasn't around. And then it was so late, I said, I'm so tired. I can't do this. Well, so everyone who's joining us tonight, thank you. Because you know what? I just want to share with you that you're cherished, you're a beautiful being of light, you're highly advanced, and your superpowers are coming online, which means more of you is going to be available to you. And all of those wonderful abilities and extraordinary skills that you have, that you've had, you were born with, you were incarnated on this new earth, Gaia, are going to be there for you. So let's say you have shown some kind of aptitude as a drawer. Maybe you're amazingly creative, or a writer, or you have a skill set for talking. Maybe you have great compassion for humanity. Whatever it is going to basically seep out of you. It's going to beam out of you like light. And why is that? Because the earth is morphing into a place of light and love and divine intervention is taking place every single day. So anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Today we're going to have topics like martial law. Martial law, is that possible? Do we know what that is even? It's related to military forces. And we're going to get on to magic tricks. And you'll know why I'm bringing that up. And angels. Of course, I'm going to mention right now about our dreams, our sleeping dreams. And I'm going to share with you this week, I had a little bit of a disruption to my normal sleep. I'm somebody who can sleep anywhere. Literally today, I was on the beach after my job in the Matrix, and it was sunny because here in New York, we've had this very strange weather. It's raining one minute, then it's hazy. They're talking about the smoke coming from the Canadian fires again. So is the air quality any good? Anyway, I regress. I was on the beach and I said to myself, oh, how lucky am I that I'm here on this new earth, Gaia? And I fell asleep. And I fell asleep because I haven't been getting enough sleep. And the reason why is it's interesting for me because I have these extra sensory. Hey, who is that? Music? Hey, music. I have these extra sensory skills like you do, except maybe you haven't brought them out of you. Maybe you're ready to start practicing your psychic phenomena. We're going to get into that at the 1 hour mark. And so I guess you want to say not last night, but the 2 nights prior, I had this disrupted sleep. These dark, I guess, evil energies came at me. And when I say energies, they came in the form of something that looked beautiful, but their intention was dark. And they were trying to persuade me and influence me and take me to the other side because I came in contact with someone who, and we're going to get into magic tricks, and maybe that's why I wanted to make this one of the topics, who it dabbles in spells and such. And in the past, I've basically shielded myself. You know, I say put your arm over your heart to protect your heart. If you sense that something that's negative is in your, I guess, vicinity, in your vicinity here in this physical reality, and you say, oh, I'm either getting a pain in my head or I don't feel well, cover your heart with your arm or imagine light around you. So a few nights ago, like I'm mentioning, one night I had a dream, and this very beautiful creature came to me, except she was trying to, like I said, persuade me, and it was really an evil force. And then the following night, and it basically frightened me. And I don't get frightened easy. However, when things like this happen to me, what do I do? Well, at first I'm like, what's going on? This is so strange and mysterious, and I don't even know. It's a little supernatural. And then all of a sudden I go, you know, I'm really bored with this. It's taking too much time. So then I start to plan for the next time it happens. And how do I plan? I go to sleep in a place of love. I also prepare myself so when I'm in that dream that I'm shooting light, I'm sending light, I'm wrapping light around it, or I'm like, I'm going to hug you. And evil doesn't like that. They don't know what to do with that. They love low vibrational emotions like hate and anger and shame and fear. So they don't really they can't do anything with love and light. And the reason I'm mentioning these dreams is because every single time I do a video, I say it's important to write down your dreams, because there's something in your dreams that is meant for you. It's meant for you. It's coming through into your system, into your spirit, into your mind, into your heart. And maybe it's going to take you down a road you wouldn't normally think of, or maybe it's going to be a hint of something. Maybe it will be a lucid dream, and you will receive activation of your light codes or one of your clair senses. There's something there for you in your dreams. So I say, write down your description of your dream. What's your dream? And there's dream interpretation. What exactly can you learn from your dreams? For me, what did I learn from these two dreams? I learned that there's still evil on the earth, and there is, I guess you could say, I hate to use these words, but satanic or Luciferian frequencies that are still either trying to affect people's thought patterns or change their decision making by giving them, like targeting them and sending a message to their mind to do something evil that's still out there. So be aware. Okay, now moving on from that, because it's just, I would say, don't forget about your intention. We want to have an intention to do our best, a commitment to do our best. Like I said, what's here right in front of you? What are you seeing that you want? What's going to be in this little space right here in this moment? Because we want to attract all the most exciting, beautiful, fantastic, I guess, circumstances into our lives. And we want all of our dreams to come true. We don't want it to be, oh, well, in 20 years, or it's on my bucket list. Forget about your bucket list. You want your bucket list to be right now. Make it happen right now. We can't predict how everything's going to turn out in the physical reality. So we only know we have this moment. That's how you create, is in this moment. So what is it that you want right now? What is it that you're dreaming about? You're daydreaming. Maybe you're at your matrix job on the computer, and all of a sudden you kind of go off and you see a tropical island, or you see something that you've wanted that's fancy, or maybe it's a different career, whatever, or some kind of relationship. Maybe you want to change something within yourself and you're just daydreaming on your computer or, in your spare time, your free time, whatever it is. We want it right here. So do it right now with me. I want you to all close your eyes. Let out a breath. Take in a breath and let out a breath. Because we want to have some stillness going on. We want to remind ourselves we're in this moment. How? Because we're looking around. Where are we? Here we are. We're letting go of any tension. And we're creating right here. We're creators. We're creators of the new earth, the new civilization that we're going to. We are wiping out all of the darkness. We're wiping out the deep state, the elite cabal, all those evil people out there or beings or whatever they are. We're wiping them out and we are creating this beautiful place that we want to be forever and ever. And so we're going to right now in this moment, we're going to imagine it with all of our senses, which means we're visualizing it, we're closing our eyes and we're imagining it. It's right here in front of you. What would it look like? What colors would you see? How would you feel if you had it right here? Now, if you feel excitement and joy and you're just ecstatic, then you can have it. If you're saying, oh, worries, you got to figure out why. Because if your dream and your beautiful goal, your destiny makes you feel worried, you have to figure that out because we don't want to sabotage it. So we're imagining it right here. I'm imagining mine and I'm seeing it right here. Who's in this? Who's in this circumstance that you're trying to create? What are their reactions? What do they look like? What's the weather like? What's the location? Give it details. Do you see anything? Do you see any numbers? Do you see any words? Do you see any guidance on how to get there? It will all be there if you pay attention. You can do this. You have so much within you that you haven't even tapped into. And we are here to tap into your potential. That's what we're here to do because it's just a thought away. It's just a belief system. You can have it. Because no one out here in the physical reality cares. And by the way, the masses, which the critical mass is changing, we've kind of flipped the table, haven't we? And more are awakening and ascending to this kind of thinking, this kind of consciousness. And as we do that, and as we believe in ourselves and we have a willingness to accept some other kind of world, we don't need our world to be based on how much money you have. Who made that up? It's about us. It's about our DNA. You have the gold within you. It doesn't matter where you live, what you look like, what you have, and where you work. You are a beautiful being of light as is. All right, so let's get into martial law. Oh my gosh, music, what are you saying here? Yes, the feelings, exactly. Yes, it's exactly that because when you buy into it, when you give it attention, when you give it power, if everyone just said, you know what, I don't care about the dollar. I'm not going to work anymore. If everyone just said that, everyone, I'm talking about everyone, maybe not the leaders. I mean, including the military. Let's say everyone, and they had no way to instrument their goals, the leaders. If everyone just went, guess what? I'm not going to do what you want anymore. We could change the world like that. So that's why it's taking time for everyone to realize that they don't have to do anything. There's free energy out there. There are those out there utilizing free energy and they've just kept it from us. Okay, so let's get into martial law. And why am I bringing up martial law? Because a few reasons. Some of the reason is because I kind of want to figure out what it is myself. And then the rest of it could be there's indications that this is a possibility in the near future. It's a possibility. Because we have been hearing, if you've been hearing whispers from some of these, I guess, truth seekers, and they've been stating that, and they've put videos online, that there is some military that's come into, I guess it's 27 plus states on the streets. And we're talking about tanks. We're talking about, I believe there's aircrafts as well, aircraft. And so why is that? What are they preparing for? They say, oh, they're testing. Then we know about the emergency broadcast system. They've tested that. And we know that there's a lot going on in Washington, D.C. And I've been speaking about some of these cases, the Durham report, what's been going on with I guess you could call him the reigning president right now, and his son. And is he going to be impeached? So we don't know how things are going to play out. So are they preparing for something? There is the WEF, the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, who began that in 1971. And when Nixon took us off the gold standard, and it looks like the dollar's crashing, and they're just holding the banks together. They're having the big banks take over the little banks. So all of these are kind of indications that there might be martial law coming. So what exactly is martial law? Well, martial law is when military forces occupy a territory. So right now, if they're occupying and there's some military forces in 27 states, I would say that that's occupying some territory. Are they preparing? Is there something that we don't know that's about to happen? Maybe it's just in case. I don't know. Like I say, unless I see it for myself, I still am just on the fence. However, I'm going to share this with you because I think it's relevant and we need to know. So the martial law would mean that military forces are occupying a particular territory. Forces invoked by a government in an emerging military area. And so it would be considered an emergency time. When they say martial law, hey, Bob Harding, between the Patent Act, the Patriot Act, and the National Defense. Yeah, well, maybe already, huh? I never thought of it that way. And we do know that there was some walls around the Capitol, and what's really going on in the IRS. I'm not quite sure. So this martial law, it would be a region, a state, a city, or the whole entire U.S. would be placed under the control of a military body. Now we have spoken about, or I have spoken about, because Elsa here. Hey, Elsa, let me get Elsa. Elsa just came in from a walk. Elsa, you're missing the show. Say hi to everybody. There's Elsa. Elsa, here you go. I need my co-host. She's my co-host, right? And so we know about the White Hats, which are the Earth Alliance and the military, some military, and then we know about the secret government, the Black Hats, and basically they've been playing, they say, a 5-level chess match, which tells us there's something that is going to kind of occur, isn't there? Because if we have this debate, isn't there always a resolution? Isn't there always some kind of aftermath of how it turns out? So we know we're headed towards something. We have to really be aware of this, and we have to really come to terms with this. Something is going to happen. I mean, something always does happen. I trust it's going to be positive. So martial law is the substitution of a civilian government for military rule and the suspension of civilian legal processes for military powers. Now, because there are military in 27 states, we have to say, is that going to have an effect on us, or is everything going to be taken care of beforehand? We don't know. We're just basically waiting, although we shouldn't wait. We should just get our personal power from the base of our spine, pull it all up, and know that we can take care of ourselves. We have to know we're safe. We cannot wait for someone to save us. We have to save ourselves. Like I say, our thoughts are very powerful. We can create anything we want. Anything is possible. So the military on the streets of 27 states, the military might very well be out there to remove the traitors, because we hear about these military tribunals in Gitmo. We hear about these executions. Whether or not that's true or not, I'm not quite sure. We're going to find out, I'm sure. But we have to uphold the Constitution. We have to get to our republic. We have to remove all the traitors and the treasonous actions, and we have to take care of humanity. So who declares a martial law? Well, there's three governing bodies that can declare martial law in the US: the president, the Congress, and the state governors. So here's an example. Martial law has been declared due to unforeseen emergencies. Civil unrest occurs. Maybe society was unable to keep peace, and that would be a reason why. So we might be seeing martial law in the future because there's some kind of unrest going on. Maybe there is fighting in the streets, or there might be something that is revealed. There might be some kind of disclosure, and the population freaks out. There's many possibilities. There's millions of possibilities, isn't there? But we know that the reason for martial law is to allow the military to assist local law enforcement in restoring civic order. So the declaration to give authority to the military to control the civic population in the place of the government usually is temporary. It's a temporary measure due to civic forces that are overwhelmed. So in the US, there's been almost 70 times they've declared martial law throughout history by the president and the governors. Even when martial law is declared in the US, the governing body, the military, is still expected to uphold the Constitution. So we can't be like fearful of this. We just have to be aware that this is a possibility. Now, I've read there's many truthers out there who say, I'm ready. What do they say about the storm? We're in the middle of the storm. The storm has come. I know QAnon spoke about the storm. DT has spoken about the storm. So are we in this storm? Are they going to flip the switch and the emergency broadcast system is going to be declared and we're going to have martial law? Are they going to create a new financial system? Because they're trying to have us have a one world government, right? I began speaking about the new world order, and that is their intention. That their intention is to keep us in these 15-minute cities, to keep us eating what they want us to eat, spending time the way they prefer. It's not freedom. And I guess somehow, maybe it was the Nazis that never left, or they stayed and they created this whole covert operation of secret government. I know that they speak about the K Mafia, the bloodlines, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and all of the families that came from wealth, and how they've had more and more wealth. And because they had wealth, and we go, oh, you're wealthy, oh, like we are their servants, like we're in servitude, like we have to be enslaved by them. Get out of here. We're done with that. That's over. So if that's the reason why martial law comes into play, all right, we want to be done with those leaders. We don't need them anymore. So martial law, like I said, has been declared almost 70 times. Now, I guess you could say, because DT has said the storm is upon us, something is about to occur. And is this I know that Q said when he says that, it would trigger us to have global martial law. I don't know if that's where we're headed. I'm just giving, I guess, hypotheticals, but also I do get premonitions. I do get premonitions. And what do I see? Well, if you've been around for a while listening to my videos, you know that my premonitions were going back. I started doing these live videos. It's almost a year ago. I was seeing in my third eye an angelic realm, and I saw angels, and they were leading me, and they were lifting me, and they were guiding me. And that's why I'm going to speak of angels this evening. And I also saw dark forces come in, and there's been a battle. Now, whatever's been going on in this other realm, this spiritual realm, this angelic realm, we don't see it until a certain period of time goes by, and then it shows itself in the physical reality. And we've seen in the last few months this great divide. And the divide is that there are those out there, and I don't know if they're of human form. I don't know if they're human blood and organs like we are, and flesh, because to me they seem like soulless beings. And there's this great divide between those that are haters and they want to kill babies and children, and they're all for, I guess, beating each other up or beating us up, and just hate and meanness and crime. And then there's this other side of the population that is all about love, and they want to transform the world and make things beautiful and wonderful. And maybe they've been traumatized, and maybe they've suffered as well, but they have a stronger heart. It all resides in the heart. So if your heart is carrying love, if your heart has love in it, then you can share your love. Now, if your heart is in a place of pain and you can't shake it off, then maybe you just get to a place so low that you take it out on everyone else. I'm sure you've run into those in the physical reality, and it might even be a stranger. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's someone that you personally know. It might just be someone you encounter, and they just throw all this information at you that's kind of negative, it's kind of destructive, it's a lot of pain, it's tear jerking, and it's like they threw it at you because they can't deal with it and hold on to it themselves. So that's their way of getting rid of it. And then they do it to someone else, and then someone else. But my point is, there are those out there that can't find the love in their heart. So I don't believe that we leave them behind. I say that we take everyone with us who chooses to come. And we say, come with us to the light. Come with us to unconditional love. And maybe it takes a spark. Maybe it takes a good deed for them. And you can see those out suffering. Maybe you're online to purchase something in a store, and you see someone that's really having a hard time. And maybe help them out. Doesn't mean you need anything back. You're just helping them out because they're suffering. And we don't want anyone to suffer. So let's look out for everyone. Let's think about in the future. Beginning. I just see, to me, there's so much that comes between me here and then what's going on in Washington, D.C., and what's going on when someone makes a decision. There's so much transactions, there's words, there's contracts, there's agreements, there's something, and it's always camouflaged. They always put this beautiful cover on it, and they make it look squeaky clean and wonderful, and you say, oh, I'm getting such a good deal. But I doubt you are. I believe that you're getting ripped off. And we have accepted this. We've allowed ourselves to be ripped off for decades, maybe lifetimes. And now we're not going to do that anymore. Now we're saying we're questioning. We're looking at what we see. We're not taking it at face value anymore. And that's my recommendation. And that's why we're going to get into magic tricks. What are magic tricks exactly? Well, magic tricks are an illusion. They are trickery. And so I wanted to bring up magic tricks because it's actually pretty fascinating. There are some famous magicians out there, and I'm going to mention the most famous of all. So a magic trick is an illusion. And the most famous magic trick, well, the most common, I should say, is the magic trick with the cups and the balls. And I've spoken about the shell game. When I'd be in Manhattan as a kid, I'd go in for an audition or a go-see, they said, for print work. And the guy would be sitting there and he'd have a cardboard box as a personal story right there on the street corner. It was very common. And there would be men hanging around there and they'd have dollars and they'd be betting because they'd have the 3 cups and they'd have a little ball and they'd put the ball in and they'd move it around and they would most of the time lose because it was a trick. Well, that actually is the most common and well-known magic trick. So a magic trick is an action that is intended to deceive. And I'm bringing up magic tricks because we've pretty much been living in this illusion, this matrix that I speak of, which is a civilization that is for the good of whoever created it, whoever made it up. It's a world. It's kind of, maybe we're living in some kind of globe or dome, and we are told this is how it is. You know, this is a pen and we write with it and we do things with it. And this is a glass and this is what we drink out of. And we all must work to make money to pay our bills. And this is the world that we're living in. And like I said earlier, if we all said, you know what, I don't want to do that anymore. As someone I know says, talk to the hand, we wouldn't have to. It is an illusion that we're living in. So magic tricks are an illusion. They're trickery. And magic tricks are successful for a few reasons, because it's believed to have power. A magic trick is believed to have power. It's a concept used to describe a mode of rationality or a way of thinking that looks to invisible forces to influence events. Magic. It will influence because you're with your eyes seeing something. And then I'm going to give the three steps to a magic trick. And also, like I said, the most famous magician of them all, I'm going to speak about in just a minute, Harry Houdini. That's Harry Houdini. So magic trick is actual something theatrical, and it's a representation of the defiance of natural law, the sleight of hand. You know, you ever see someone who's playing, I don't have cards, but you know, they're moving the cards around, or they just have this very amazing skill with their hands about moving things around. And maybe it's like the magic tricks we know about, like look over here because I'm doing something over here. So it's something with the sleight of hand, and they have fine motor skills that they can move their hands around, a magician. And when it's used by performing arts in different art forms, it's used to entertain and manipulate. Because a magician is kind of tricking you into believing something that's not real or is not true. I mean, we all know about the magic trick where they cut the woman in half or the man in half. They weren't really cutting. They'd have a box and they'd have a saw and they'd be cutting and they'd pull it apart. I still want to know how they did that. I'm very intrigued by magic after investigating magic. So what we think is something that wouldn't normally would happen, that's impossible, happens during a magic trick. And so it seems as though they're influencing events. They're able to make things happen that are impossible. So there's a few principles to magic. There's actually two. The law of similarity and the law of contagion. The law of similarity infers that whatever he does to a material object will affect equally the person with whom the object was once in contact with. The law of similarity is the magician infers that he can provide an effect he desires merely by imitating it. So the two principles are the law of similarity and the law of contagion. There's what's called the Fraser theory, sympathetic magic, which is assuming that things that act on each other at the distance through secret sympathy. So mankind's widespread and continuous belief in magic as a false association of ideas. And basically, it's an illusion. We believe that something's happening, but it really is not. And that's kind of what we actually have been living in. And we've been living in a big magic trick, haven't we? So the oldest magic trick is the magic trick, and this was founded in 2700 BC in Egypt, which was the trick with, I said, the moving cups over the balls. Go figure, in Egypt. Now there's 3 steps to a magic trick. I don't know if you know this. Every great trick consists of 3 acts. There's what's called the pledge, which is the magician shows you. I'm going to hold up Harry Houdini because I'm about to speak about Harry Houdini, and I find him extremely interesting and brilliant, isn't he? So every great trick consists of 3 acts. The pledge, which is the magician shows you something ordinary, like a dove. You ever see when a magician has a dove and then he makes the dove disappear? And then the magician takes the dove. This is 2. He makes the dove disappear. And it's extraordinary because it's gone. So it's something ordinary is the first step, called the pledge. And the second step is called the turn, where it's extraordinary. And the third step of a magic trick is the prestige. All the twists and turns. The magician tops the disappearance and makes it reappear. So here's the dove disappears, and now it's back. Those are the 3 steps, beginning, middle, and end. So the number 1 rule of magic, does anybody know that? What's the number 1 rule of magic? Harry Houdini knew this, didn't he? He knew this. The number 1 rule of magic is self-containment. You must hold your intention within yourself. Listen to this. The number 1 rule of magic is to hold your intention within yourself. I always speak of intention. It's called self-containment. Stocking it up with power, so you're keeping the intention, you're stocking it up with power. Only then will you be able to manifest what you desire. Isn't that interesting? So manifesting is actually the number 1 rule of magic. You must hold your intention within yourself. And I always say, we don't share what we want with others out there. Why? Because they can sabotage it. And that's the number 1 rule of magic. And you're stocking it with power. You're giving it power. And then you will be able to manifest what you desire. All right, anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So Harry Houdini. Harry Houdini was born in 1874 in Budapest, Hungary. He's Hungarian. And then he died in 1926 in Detroit, Michigan, US. So he was the son of a rabbi who immigrated from Hungary, and he landed in Wisconsin, US when he first moved to the United States. And he became a trapeze performer. I'm going to hold up this as well because this is fascinating. This is the most extraordinary, I guess, unbelievable magic trick ever. And we know what this is, don't we? So he became a trapeze performer in circuses and landed in New York City in 1882. Go figure. He was in New York City. I'm not far from New York City. Known as Beatrice Houdini, his assistant became his wife. Her real name was Wilhelmina Reiner. And then in 1894, she changed her name to Beatrice Houdini, and she was his stage assistant. So she helped him with all of his acts. She was the one who got cut in half. She was the one who did whatever magic trick he was interested in sharing. So his daring feats, from ropes, handcuffs, shackles out of locked containers, coffins, prison cells. So a typical act, he was shackled with chains and placed in a box, locked, and then submerged in water. And that's what's going on right here. You can see this. He was able to take himself out of handcuffs, and he was able to take himself out of a what's it called? A vest, one of those vests that they put you in. And he was placed underwater, and he was able to free himself. So he allowed himself to be suspended from 75 feet above ground and freed himself from a straitjacket. That's what it is. So he was strong and agile. Well, obviously, if he was a trapeze artist, he must have been very, very, very much a flexible performer. I mean, because for you to be able to be a trapeze artist and to do some of these acts that he did. So he was able to manipulate locks, and he claimed, and this is interesting because you know that we speak about psychic phenomenon. He did not believe in mind reading. He did not believe in psychics. In fact, he wrote 3 books about it. And he was anti mind reading, psychics, mediums, and he said they were frauds. He wrote books called Miracle Mongers, another book, Their Methods, and another one, The Magician Among the Spirits. Now, he was upside down in this water torture cell, and it was a dangerous magical escape, and he had his feet locked into a pair of stocks, and he was lowered into a tank of water, and he got out. So there you go. There you go. What was that? That was a magic trick. So be aware of magic tricks. Look beyond the surface. Consider what you see is not the truth. And, we sometimes can be persuaded. We sometimes can be persuaded by flattery. We can be persuaded by something that we see. And it looks good, but it's really not. When you flip it over, you say, oh, I was tricked. So just keep that in mind in the future. All right, so angels. Let's get into angels, because then we're going to speak of psychic phenomenon. Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. The beginning of, okay, we said that. The art of distraction is the most useful one for the magicians. Yes, I agree with you. The art of distraction. So Harry Houdini, don't forget about him. I'm actually gonna order his books online because I want to know what he thought. I'm reading those ESP books, and now I'm going to read about Harry Houdini, who is the most famous magician of all time, and he was genius, and he was born in 1874. All right, angels. Angels. Well, here's a little caricature of angels. Angels are beings of light. They come from the heavens to protect humanity. They're benevolent. And what are angels really? Well, maybe they look like this with the wings. Maybe they look like, I guess you could say, this with the light around them. So angels come from the heavens to earth to protect humanity. And they're intermediates between God and humanity. They're here to be protectors and messengers and guides. And for me, they've been a personal source of support. And I guess also, I must have been drawn to the light of angels because they were so present with me for so many years. And it was like I was traveling towards them. And I've seen within this dome, I guess you could say this tower. I've seen shelves of angels on these ornate towers reaching to the heavens. And when I look into my third eye, let me see what I see in my third eye. Well, I see, I see some chickens eating some feed on the ground. It's always when I look into my third eye now, I always see a lot of nature. Um, I see a lot of powerful energy coming or it's existing right now. There's something that is shifting the world, and maybe it is coming from heaven. Maybe the source is angels. So angels are protectors. And here's a most famous painting, and I've shared it with you before. And you can see these angels dancing, and that's what I always see when I look into my third eye is angels dancing, and they would invite me to dance with them. So they're holding hands and they're in a circle. And we know there's angels that have been spoken about throughout history. We know Joan of Arc spoke about angels that came to her and there was visions, and they told her, they gave her some premonitions. And we know that there's angels that are mentioned throughout history and in literature and in the Bible. And I've read when there was this famous research that was done in relation to near-death experiences. I don't know if you had a near-death experience. I've had a few. And those that were interviewed said that when they were passing over, an angel greeted them. And it was common, and these were people that were taken that had nothing to do with each other, and they were interviewed and they came up with the same responses, which were that these angels, these beings of light, came to them, like they saw them crossing over to a bridge and they came to them to give a message, or they were there to take them over to the other side. And so angels are real. I believe in angels. So this painting is the Temple of Dance, a celestial celebration. And it's by Botticelli. So angels are guides and protectors and messengers. And as you know, when I stay on a subject like I am right now, there's a reason, because I'm trying to create an effect. I'm trying to bring this forward. And sometimes when you hear information, it just goes, it goes in one ear and out the other, or you're not really paying attention. But I want to, right in this moment, mention angels and stay here for more than 5 seconds. So angels are beings in a cosmic hierarchy, and you can see these are known as the different ranks of angels, and this is called hierarchy of angels. There's 9 ranks: seraphim, cherubim, thrones, dominions, principalities, powers, virtues, archangels, and guardian angels. So they're these beings in this cosmic hierarchy. So they are existing in another realm, another dimension that we are not seeing with our eyes right here. However, if you are tuning into your clairsenses, if you're astral projecting, if you are channeling, if you are maybe connecting with spirit, a higher consciousness, you might have had an angel reveal itself to you, maybe in a premonition dream. For me, it started where an angel came to me in a dream, and I believe it was Archangel Michael. And I have to tell you though, I don't know if I've shared this with you. Archangel Michael did not look like a human face. Archangel Michael looked like, actually, I'm going to hold up this picture. Archangel Michael had a wing that spread all the way to the ground. I saw through a long corridor, side view, it looked like feathers that were from here, the peak of his skull right here coming down, and had an eye that's shaped like an eagle, but not the rest of the face. So, and it had this long, and it had this, like I said, this expanded wing all the way from shoulder to ground. And I said, "What's that?" It was a lucid dream, and then it blinked. Now, the energy that I received from this lucid dream was not of human, was not human. It was nothing like I've ever felt in my entire life. It wasn't masculine, it wasn't feminine, it was both. And it was powerful and strong. And it was, I telepathically felt that that Archangel Michael was there to tell me that I was being supported and to not worry. Hey, thanks, Alexandra. I assure them that I think I would remember something like that. Just likely acting. Wait, what does this say? Meeting several people who flat out ask me what I am. They have asked if I'm an angel or a deity or something. Well, you know what, Bob? I have to tell you though, just like politicians. So what you're, it's interesting that you're saying that, because in the last few days, I was speaking to one of my friends who's also a healer, and I was sharing with her some information about someone, and she said, "Is he Arcturian?" And I believe that we're going to get, that's going to be more of a common conversation. What are you? So it's not a negative thing. Now, Archangel Michael is the angel of mercy, general in God's army, and the angel of death. So angels have this relationship with God, this divine status. That's why there are these ranks of angels. So when I say the 9 ranks of angels, the guardian angels are closest to humans, and the seraphim is the closest to God. So there's 9 ranks. So if you want to say, I'll show a picture what I'm talking about. This is what they say if you look at a diagram related to this. So it would be like, here's God, God's source, okay? And then around God's source is 9 levels, right? It's not even going to fit on this page. See what I'm saying? So this would be seraphim going all the way out, the closest to God. The closest to God is seraphim. So Archangel Gabriel is the messenger of the angels, and military and leader of all angels is Archangel Gabriel. So we have Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Michael. There's also Archangel Raphael, who is the angel of healing. Now you can pray to these angels. You can ask for angels to come into your existence. You can speak of angels, and you know what? Maybe it will spark light within you. Maybe it will bring divine intervention into your life. It definitely has an effect. I wouldn't be speaking about this if it didn't have an effect, or it wasn't something that changes you or transitions you into a better version of you, maybe something more hopeful, more happy. And that's my purpose here, is to bring light. That's why it's called Living in the Light. Then there's Archangel Uriel, patron of the arts. Now, angels are known for goodness and offering comfort and during signs of trouble. So if you are going through a tough time, maybe ask for angels to reach out. I think angels appear differently to all. Yes. They appear in the form that makes. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. Absolutely, music, 1,000,000%. So here we go. Here's some angel facts before we get on to psychic phenomenon. Our guardian angels, so each of us have guardian angels, are named by God. So we each have guardian angels. They say we each have two. You have 2 guardian angels that are with you right now. You can say, "Hey, hello, help me." I mean, I say it, I need help. Everyone needs a little help. So we cannot name them, but we can ask for assistance and guidance. And you can say, "Maybe you can help me here. I need some help." So they say angels live forever, and they move very fast. They're non-gender. They're immortal. and they have free will. Angels have emotions like joy, and they exist in heavenly realms and traveling between heaven and earth. Now, if you're interested in watching some movies, if you're a movie goer, if you like to watch films, you can watch some movies with angels, and I'll give you some examples. Here we go. Here's some angel movies, okay? Movies with angel themes. City of Angels, 1998. Legion, 2010. Hearts and Soul, 1993. Robert Downey Jr. Heaven Can Wait, Warren Beatty. That's an old one, 1978. Angels in the Outfield, 1994. I'm giving some examples of films with angels if you're interested in watching. Constantine with Keanu Reeves, 2005. The Prophecy, 1995. Dogma with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, 1999. And the last one that I have here is Michael with John Travolta in 1996. So there's some examples of some films with angels. Now, if we just take a little bit of this information and move it forward, then maybe, and we accept it, because a lot of this is not, it's not really about, I want to say, it's not about pressuring yourself or pushing or forcing. It's more about accepting. It's more about when we want some of this in our lives, like I always say, if we ask, we shall receive. And if we start to say we would like something like an angelic presence in our life, an angelic presence is going to feel as though you're not alone. An angelic presence is it's going to be okay if you're talking to yourself because you know you're not alone. An angelic presence might really feel like some kind of sensation around you. And if this resonates with you, or if you have a moment where all of a sudden you have an epiphany, you might get goosebumps. You might feel a brush across your face. You might get like a press on your face, or you feel as though your hand is being held, or you're being lifted up. And if what I'm saying to you sounds silly, it sounds impossible, it's not. It's something that's considered real life phenomenon. It's considered supernatural. It's considered otherworldly. And that's what angels are. Angels are otherworldly beings. They're very powerful, and they have an agenda. They have an agenda, and the agenda is to protect humans. The agenda is for humanity. So they're good. And angels are good. Plenty of demonic ones, though. Notice not too many recent ones these days. Thanks, Bob Harding. All right, so let's get into some psychic phenomenon. Again, I'm going to apologize that I wasn't here last night. And it was like I started doing it at 6:30, and then I changed it. I thought I'd be back by 8:30 because something came up and I wasn't here. And I didn't get home till 9:30. And I said, I can't do this. It's 9:30 because I had to be at work really early this morning. My job in the Matrix needed me. Oh, let me share with you. I don't know if everyone here knows that you can find me. My website's going to be up and running again soon. I have this magnificent website that I spent so much money on, and right now it's down. But you can find my videos on YouTube, like here we are, and then Stream TV. I'm also in the process with someone. We're creating a Roku channel, so I'll be able to be streaming on Roku sticks, Roku channels, and it's pretty exciting. Also, I'm in the process of creating a radio show, so I have some really good things up and coming. And I'm also doing a callback for a film. I have a part in possibly a part in a film, so I have to do that audition. All right, so let's get into psychic phenomenon. What is psychic phenomenon? Well, psychic phenomenon is your clairsenses. It's your knowing. It's what you have been not doing most of your life unless you were coming from a psychic family, or it was nurtured, or you were super creative and you spent a lot of time daydreaming, or maybe it was so powerful within you that you had to tune into it and say, okay, I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, and you've been practicing it your whole life. But if you're none of that, then you might just be starting from basically the ground floor, the beginning, the foundation. And that's okay, because it can happen like this. All of a sudden, you are knowing, and you are intuitive, and you are having premonition dreams, and you are tuned into all of your gifts. Now, your gifts and my gifts are not going to be the same, and your gifts and your neighbor's gifts, and even you and your relatives' gifts. Is this something that we go and share with everyone? Well, it's a little bit more accepted than it was. I mean, people go in the newspaper and they look up their horoscope, and there's plenty of TV shows and films about psychics. However, if you go around saying you're psychic in your town, you might not necessarily be believed. And that's okay, because we don't need proof. We have to trust. We have to have an inner knowing, and we have to have trust, and we have to have self-confidence. And we have to have a willingness to accept ourselves. We're not having any doubt. I've shared with you, what does doubt do? You crumble when you have doubt, when you're trying to do a reading. Have you been practicing your telepathy? Have you been sending messages? Have you been having any synchronistic events happen, which means that events that have nothing to do with each other cross over? You get validation that you're on the right path. Has that happened to you lately? Well, if you've been practicing your psychic phenomenon here, I'm sure that it's had some kind of reaction to you, some kind of sensation to you that's changed you. Now, we're trying to change ourselves from within and outward. We can't change the physical reality, can we? But we can transition and transform ourselves, and we can bring forward all of our natural abilities and gifts, and we have energies within us. I say to you, it's imperative that you write down your dreams, because all of this is offering you another version of what's going on within you. And it's also giving it validation as well. You're accepting yourself, and you're also probably learning. You're also probably learning everything that we do and everything we speak about here is helping you to learn about yourself. All right, so let's right now, what we're going to do is we're going to start by relaxing like we always do. We're going to relax our limbs, our arms, our legs, let out a breath. And we want to say like we're like a jellyfish or a rag doll. Maybe we tense up and let go. And we tense up and we let go. And we're trying to develop our ability to get there a little bit quicker, because when we do that, when we do all of these steps and we can do it like that, that means when you're out there in your life, without even realizing, you go through the steps and you receive the impression. You receive the information from another source. It will happen like this, almost spontaneously. Okay, so it has to become second nature to you to relax. And also to take away the doubt, to come from a place of stillness, tune into your heart. All right, so let's imagine that all of our energies are coming out through our arms, out, if you can sit up. I don't know if you're laying down or sitting up. For me, when I do this, it feels easier if I close my eyes, but you can choose not to close your eyes and keep them open. And be sure that you've uncrossed your legs. And we want to, again, remind ourselves, we want to put all our weight in our bottom, and imagine the base of our spine is going into the earth. So we're grounding ourselves. And I say to you that I like to be by a right angle, a wall. because I need that permanence and that stability to be able to do a reading or to be able to receive information. Now, I'm reminding you that you are a receiver and you're a transmitter. So when you receive information, it's being transmitted from another source. And maybe it's a person, maybe it's another civilization, maybe it's another dimension, another version of you in the metaverse, maybe it's out of the cosmos. You don't have to necessarily define every single impression you receive. The ones that stick with you, you will know. You will know which ones you need to hang on to. All right, so we're relaxing all of our limbs. We're letting out a breath. If you need to say words to let it out. And we're pushing away any doubt or any thoughts. And we're going to do some inhale and exhale 3 times just to be sure we're relaxed. Okay? So we're inhaling, we're holding it, and then we're exhaling. So I hope, after your long day, I hope that this is a way for you to just kind of get to a place of relaxation. You're dropping down into your physical vessel. You're making physical contact. You're reminding yourself of all your clairsenses, your clairsustenance, your feeling, your clairaudience, your healing, your clairvoyance, your seeing. Maybe your claircognizance, which is all 3. Maybe it's your taste, your smell, your touch. I'd like you to tune into your heart right now. Let's tune into our hearts. We're pushing away any thoughts. What are we feeling? What are we feeling? Are we feeling? When I say feeling, it's an emotion. It's not a physical thing. It's an emotion. How are you feeling? Are you feeling content? Are you feeling upset? Are you hurt? Are you happy? Whatever it is, try to identify it. When we acknowledge our feelings, we're kind of releasing them at the same time. We're not giving them as much power and we're not holding on to them. So if I was to say my feelings right now, for me, I feel cautionary. I feel content, but cautionary. That's what I'm getting coming through. All right, so let's hear beyond the walls of the room, in the room at first, or wherever you are right now. What are you hearing? What are you hearing? I'm hearing a little frequency that's kind of vibratory. And then I kind of went out into the stars. So I went very far out. Anyone who's joining us, I hope you liked the video. And I'm so grateful for everyone here. I'm going to ask about something I just remembered. It came to me. I hope I don't forget. All right. So then we're going to go to our clairvoyance, right? We spoke about activating our clairvoyance. We can manifest activating it where we are visualizing. What are we seeing? Now, don't forget, everything that we're doing right now is a portal to another dimension. It's a gateway. You're opening up a gateway to another dimension. You're allowing another source to come into you and give you information or guide you. Okay? All right, so now I'm going to give a suggestion. So let's choose 1 to 3 clairsenses. 1 to 3. Now listen, you're able to master 1 clairsense, and then beyond that, all the way up to 3, maybe all of them. You have gifts. You can find them. They're within you. You're going to ask for it to come forward. All right, so my suggestion is I'm tuning in like I usually do to my hearing. It's always this ear for some reason. Maybe I'm going to try this ear tonight. I'm changing it up a little for me. I'm going to tune into this ear, and I'm going to tune into my heart. So I'm going to my feeling and I'm going to my hearing, and my suggestion is tonight. My suggestion tonight is, or the suggestion would be, what is the next sleeping dream? What is going to happen in the next sleeping dream that you have? What is going to happen in the next sleeping dream? Well, that came through really quickly for me. I don't know what you received. I'm going to tell you right now. Hey, Ernie, you haven't been here in a really long time. Hi. Welcome. So I had this vision. So what I saw like a reptilian. It looked like some kind of extraterrestrial that was reptilian. And then I heard, quick, get on board. So we were getting on board. We were on a planet. So this is a dream, I guess I'm going to have. Now it's interesting that I'm not remembering a lot of my dreams lately, although I did have those, I guess you want to call it those evil Luciferian things kind of bother me for 2 nights ago. But this was my next dream, allegedly now, because this is like through our psychic phenomenon. I saw myself boarding a spaceship. I heard get on, and then I went to my feeling because I was trying to do my claircognizant. I was trying to do hearing, seeing, and then feeling. And when I went to feeling, I received that I wasn't really too worried about it. So I wasn't really too scared about these reptilians. Interesting. I guess I'm not so fearful of those reptilians. All right, before we go, what I'd like to do, because I'm just sharing with you that this will bring light. I know you might say this is tedious. I'm not interested in doing it, but please try. I'm asking you to rub your hands together. Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe. Tonight we spoke about martial law, which is military forces occupying territory, forces invoked by the government. You can start from the beginning and watch if you're interested. We spoke about magic tricks and Harry Houdini, who is the most famous of them all magicians, because we've kind of been living in illusion. And then I spoke about angels. They're beings of light. They're benevolent. They're celestial. They come from the heavens to earth here to protect humanity. They ascend and descend on a staircase. All right, so let's rub our hands together. And why are we doing this? Why? Because it's part of our psychic phenomenon. And when we create a ball of light, we're bringing energy into our physical reality. And what is that going to be? Well, what is light? Light is revealing. Light is goodness. Light is pure. Light is heavenly. So we're going to bring all of this. And guess what else it does? What does light do? It's like when I spin light around you and I say, make a wish. What light does is it takes away darkness. It moves energy. It moves negativity around. So when we create light, a ball of light, we put it out in our physical reality. What are we doing? Well, it's going to hit our human energy field. The light is going to touch us, and maybe it's going to spark something within you. And all of a sudden, you're going to have a brilliant idea. You're like, Eureka, right? Something's going to happen. Change it up, baby. Change it up. Okay, so we rub our hands together, right? And what do we get when we rub our hands together? We take it away from our body. We rub our hands together, and we should feel some kind of friction, right? We take our hands apart. Now, if you've taken any kind of pain medicine, like any kind of, if you have a headache or you didn't feel well today, you might not feel feel this, but you should feel something kind of energy moving across your palms from one on your palms, and you should feel some kind of energy between your palms. Now, if you can, you want to make it into a cup. So you're cupping your hands. And if that's not working for you, keep your hands like this, right? Next to each other. But essentially what you're doing is you're bringing light here. I've created a ball of light. If you can feel friction on your hands, your palms are feeling something, then that means you've created a ball of light. We're putting the ball of light into our physical reality. We're bringing light. Now, maybe you want to imagine this ball of light within you. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to close our eyes if you choose to. If you choose to. You're going to close your eyes, okay? And I'd like you to imagine that this ball of light is within you. Maybe this ball of light is in your stomach area. In your stomach area. And why am I choosing that? Why am I choosing the stomach area? Because that is a place that a lot of us, when we have trauma or we're suffering and we don't feel good, we feel it in our stomach. Maybe we get a stomach ache. Maybe we have a stomach problem. Maybe, if you have a nervous condition or an addiction, it starts in the stomach. And that's because you're upset. So let's imagine this ball of light in our stomach. That's what I'm suggesting. So what are we seeing? We're seeing this ball of light in our stomach. So it's a glowing ball of light, and it's this big. It's as big as the ball of light that you've created in your hands. So I guess that's it's not as big as a soccer ball. I don't know. It's just this big. I don't even know if there's actually a sport that has a ball this size, but so we're imagining this ball of light within our stomach. And so we're moving the ball of light around in our stomach like this, and it's glowing. And so we want to move this ball of light circular. So let's move this ball of light in our belly. We see it in our belly, and we're moving it counterclockwise. Okay, 1, 2, 3, because we're going to send light into our bellies. And we're going to take away any kind of anxiety we have, any kind of stress that's forming in our stomach. Okay? And now I'd like you to spin the ball, take the ball in your hand, the ball of light, and move it 3 times clockwise. 1, can you feel it? Do you have any sensation in your belly? I do. I can feel the ball of light in my belly. 2, 3, because it's the intention, isn't it? It's the intention. So we visualize this ball of light within us. And now what are we going to say with this ball of light in our stomach? We're going to say, I'm taking away all of my anxiety, all of my stress. And we're going to kind of say maybe in the form of, I am. And we're going to say it, and maybe it's a mantra. So I am free from anxiety. I am free from stress. I am feeling better. It's whatever you want it to be, but this is a suggestion. Okay. And so we're going to put our hands back together, rub them together, and I'm going to say thank you for joining me tonight. I want good things for you. I'm sending you light. I'm sending you love. I want you to find the love within your heart. I want you to spark that light within you. Hey, music, rubbing your body, circular motion, rubbing your belly helps with digestion. Thanks for sharing that. Remember, as kids, I was saying yummy in my tummy. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So I'm spinning light, and you're in the center of it, and you're making a wonderful, glorious, humongous wish from your list of goals, okay? Or whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be on any list. It can be just something that pops into your head and something that you thought, I want that. It came to me today. Hey, Elsa. Elsa, here's somebody. And then I'm spinning light the other way, and you're in the center of it. And you're making a wish. And I hope you join me for another live. I'm sending you light. I hope you join me for my next live. And I hope you find me on Stream TV. I'm on Instagram. And have a good evening. Be well. We know we have this holiday weekend coming up, so be sure that you have some fun, eat some yummy food, spend time with family and friends, get out in nature. Bye. Bye-bye. Hey, Jenny. Hey.